James Ham, ESPN 1320. De'Aaron, just the way you guys responded again and again in that game, just how proud are you of your team for being able to withstand all of that, including the wild mess with Sabonis and Draymond?
Oh, extremely. I think that brought us together. HB brought us. We huddled up and we're like, yo, we have to win this game, especially everybody thought he'd be ejected. So when that happens, usually that team kind of comes together and goes on a run. But we were able to negate that, and I think we finished the game extremely well in those last few minutes.
Yeah, De'Aaron, Brendan Nunez, Kings Herald. Second straight really good game from Malik. Can you just speak to the importance of having secondary playmaking out there and how it makes the game easier for everybody but yourself specifically?
Yeah, he's been doing that all season. Obviously, we want him to do it throughout the season more consistently. But when you have some rest in between games, obviously, and also playing the same team twice, and you get to be able to adjust to coverages that they throw at you. I think he responded extremely well. Him and Davion. Obviously, last game it was him and Trey. This game it was him and Davion stepped up big time for us.
De'Aaron, Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. The last game, the Warriors had 31 assists, and that evaporated down to 18. What are you guys doing? What do you guys do tonight? To limit them, in those passes and finding those open lanes.
I think a big part of it was Draymond. He had 11 assists in the first game. We go back, we make adjustments. And if he's in a double-digit assist type of game, then they're having a good game. They have a flow going to it. So we just wanted to be able to disrupt it. I think they said we had 24 deflections. How many steals? 11 steals, 20 turnovers. I think we were just being extremely disruptive, trying to be physical without fouling. I feel like obviously some guys had a good game, but I feel like we kind of disrupted the flow of their game.
Back here, Fox. Sean Cunningham, Fox 40. Obviously, it's an ugly moment with Draymond. I know you guys are really tight with him, and obviously with Sabonis. Does that change anything in your mind, seeing an ugly moment like that, and especially the way maybe he riled up the crowd after?
Going against him and some guys in this league, that it's going to get physical. Obviously, that shouldn't happen. But at the end of the day, we're protecting our teammate. And that is what it is at the end of the day.
Mark Haynes, Sacramento Observer. De'Aaron, this is your second great playoff game, playoff game of your career. Is it safe to say that you're built for this?
I'll let the fans do that. But even so, offensively, I think I had a decent game, 10 for 23. Even though some people shoot 43% for the season. I tell Malik, yo, I can't shoot 50% every game. But for me, I think the big thing was, the 3 steals. I think I had 1 block, but I thought I had 2 blocks. But the 3 steals in the block, I think, was bigger for us than me just putting the ball in the basket. And then 9 assists. I think I had two turnovers. And I think as a team, we had 2 turnovers in the second half alone. So that was huge for us.
De'Aaron, Joe Davidson, Sacramento Bee. Can you talk a little bit more about Davion Mitchell and just his effort and his energy? And do you ever go against him in practice, and how's that go?
Yeah, he was big time for us tonight. Obviously, we all know what he can do defensively. He hounded Steph most of the game. And then, obviously, what he added to us today offensively was huge. The big 3 in the corner, honestly, I would say was like the nail in the coffin. And, yeah, I go against Day every day in practice. That's why y'all see what I do out here, because I'm not going against Davion out here. So he's made me a better player since he's been here. Obviously, he has the nickname Off Night, but I don't think people realize, how he moves laterally and then how strong he actually is. So, yeah, going up against that anytime we scrimmage or do stuff has made me a much better player.
Hey, De'Aaron, Matt George, ABC 10. I don't know how you feel about milestones necessarily, but this is the first time in the Steph, Klay, Draymond era that the Warriors have gone down 0-2 in a playoff series. Does that mean anything to you or to the team?
I would say for us, we knew that we needed to be better at home. And in these first 2 games, we protected home court. And I think that's about all we're taking from it. We protected home court. Now we have to go in their building where they're one of the best teams at home in the league and try to win a game.
Aaron Jason Anderson from the Sacramento Bee. To follow up on that, how much better does it feel to go up 2-0 at home, but as you go to San Francisco? How much more confidence does that give you than maybe being in a 1-1 situation?
It feels good. It definitely feels good just being able to protect home court. I mean, that's what you play, the entire season for, is to try to get home court advantage as much as you can throughout the playoffs. So for us to be able to protect that, I think it's definitely huge for us. And, I mean, it builds confidence day after day, game after game. When you're winning a game in a playoff series, it makes you, it builds up your confidence. Obviously, you don't want to overreact or go into a game overconfident, but I mean, you put yourself in that position, so you have the right to be confident. But we know that, we go and watch film, we go back to the drawing board, we see what we need to adjust on, and we play the next game.
Another game where the shots didn't really fall as much. How do you guys keep that offensive pressure consistently throughout when you don't see that ball go in?
I mean, the ball keeps moving. We got great looks. I think we just missed, and I think shots will start falling. But we continue to play the same way. Just because shots aren't going in, we don't stray away from anything. And I think we got to the basket a lot. We touched the paint a lot. We were able to get kickouts. And when they did go down, they were big for us. So you just stay the course. Just because you're missing shots, you don't change what you're doing out there.
Just want to get your perspective on Herter, how he's defending Klay. Klay did, get a couple big shots down the stretch and stuff, but just want to get your, commentary on Herter's work on Klay.
Yeah, Klay's going to make shots regardless of what's going on. I mean, a lot of times, especially in this league with guys and how talented they are, unless you're blocking the shot, then it's hard. You just want to you try to contest as heavily as possible and hope they miss at times. But Kev was big for us. Just being able to put pressure on him, be physical. Klay is strong. He pushes you to get you into screens, and I think Kev was big time for that. And I think he either blocked one or two of Klay's jumpers. So he was big on that end for us.
De'Aaron Jason Anderson again from the Bee. There's a report here that Domas is undergoing X-rays on his ribs and his lungs after what happened there with Draymond. Do you want to speak to just the beating that he takes consistently and go any further as to what happened tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he's down there. He led the league in rebounding. He scores a lot of points in the restricted area, and he gets hit. He gets hit all game. He gets grabbed. He gets tackled. Obviously, at times he says something, but most of the time he doesn't complain. He gets up, he gets back on defense, and we've talked about this before. That ignites a team. If your best player is down there getting beat up, and at times he doesn't say anything, he gets back, then everybody else knows that if something happens to them, if you may get fouled, then you need to get back on defense. So it's big for us. Obviously, we hope our brother is okay. We hope he's not injured. Even just outside of basketball, if you fracture a rib or punctured lung, like that's a serious injury. So we just hope for the best right now.
Steve, what concerns you the most going forward? Was it the 22 turnovers tonight or the inability to really get into your offense against Sacramento's pressure?
Yeah, they did a great job defensively of pressuring us, and we didn't handle it well enough to win, a playoff game on the road. And with that said, it's a tie game with 4 minutes left or whatever it was. So we know we have to play better. But we will play better. These guys are champions. You saw what they did in a really difficult situation with a lot of foul trouble, an ejection. The way our guys fought, they showed what they're made of. So now it's a matter of going home and licking our wounds a little bit. And, we get a little rest with a couple of days in between games, and we go home and take care of our home court.
What was your take on the Draymond ejection, and then I guess what came after that?
I didn't see the play live, and then I didn't see the replay. I asked Zach Zarba what happened. He told me, and I was busy with getting the team ready. One of the coaches told me he might get ejected, And so I was trying to, prepare for what was next.
What happened down the stretch? I mean, you mentioned it was a tie game late. Obviously, you don't have Draymond, but just what did you see?
Yeah, I thought we were competing. We were, we hit some big shots. Gary hits the corner three to tie it. I think Klay hit a big one on the wing. But they played better than we did down the stretch. I thought they were more physical tonight. It was an incredibly physical game. Really, a lot of physicality, not much movement, not much freedom of movement out there. So they were the aggressors, and I thought, they benefited from being the aggressors.
We've talked a lot about how the Kings and you guys both like to play quick. Just what have you made of the pace of this series so far?
Well, tonight was obviously slower than game one. As I said, the game got much more physical early. I thought there could have been 10 fouls called in the first 3 minutes, 5 on each team. And so that's how you have to adapt in the playoffs. They established they weren't going to call much. And, we played a really good first quarter. We held them to 17 points, but we couldn't sustain it. And the game got away from us there in the second quarter, and then they kind of controlled things from there. But as I said, I'm really proud of the effort to fight back and give ourselves a chance to win. We just didn't have enough.
And historically, I mean, you guys have always been a team that you try and speed up the series, right? Maybe other teams aren't as quick, but you really want to push the pace. Have you ever faced a team in your memory that can match you guys right there with just quickness?
We've played so many teams over the years in the playoffs, and we've seen a lot of different styles. So I'm not going to go into my history book right now. I got other things on my mind, but the playoffs are filled with challenges. Every team you play is going to be a great team. Obviously, Sacramento has had a hell of a year for a reason. I thought they played great defense tonight, so this is just about giving them credit.
Steve, you talked often all season about fouls, defending without fouling. How much of a factor has that been the 2 games, and what can you do to turn that around?
Well, like I said, the first half there were hardly any fouls called, and second half there were more called. And I think we had 5 in the first 2 minutes of the third quarter, which hurt us. But like I said, you have to adapt to the way the game is being called, and I thought we had a few too many reaches and holds and plays that we might have been able to avoid, but it was also an incredibly physical game, as I said.
Steve, you didn't play Jordan or Dante in the fourth quarter, didn't play Kuminga the entire second half. Was that production-based, or was that something of a plan? You were going to basically go with
No,
5
it wasn't the plan. It's just reading the game and seeing what we needed. We had to have our best defensive lineups out there in the fourth quarter. That's why Gary and Wiggs played quite a bit the entire quarter, and we kept Steph and Klay out there for most of the quarter. I think Steph played the whole quarter because we had to have those guys to give us a shot, and so they got us there. They gave us a shot. Like I said, getting to that point, even with everything going on, I thought was really impressive, but just didn't have quite enough.
You also went to Moody. Are you seeing this series shifting in a way where you have to go kind of wing heavy? I mean, kind of a little bit like to answer your question, but is that why Moody was suddenly?
Yeah, I mean, everything is a balance. You're trying to find the best two-way lineups you can. So on offense, I felt like we needed a little more spacing. And on defense, they're a physical team. We need some physicality. We need some size out there. So I gave Moses a crack. I thought he did a really nice job while he was out there. Thanks.
Draymond, can you just walk us through what happened there?
My leg got grabbed. Second time in 2 nights. Referees just watch it. I got to land my foot somewhere. And I'm not the most flexible person, so it's not stretching that far.
So you didn't really see where you were stepping? You just kind of...
I can only step so far. I'm pulling my leg away, so it is what it is.
What was the explanation they give? I know they gave him a technical, then obviously you a flagrant too.
The explanation was I stumped too hard.
How hard was that impact? Were you surprised that he was on the ground for that long?
No, I wasn't surprised that he stayed down that long.
You said 2 times you've been held with Sabonis, both times.
No, it was Monk last game, right on the baseline under the rim. So either you're going to stop it. John Goble was looking at Monk hold my leg the last game, and he just let it go. And Zach clearly was watching my leg get held this game and let it go. So I guess ankle grabbing is okay.
How would you describe your actions and the crowd's actions after that? You certainly egged them on. Did you feel you needed to respond to them, or were you hearing anything that you needed to respond to there?
No, I'm just having fun. It's a fun game, fun atmosphere to play in. So it's fun.
Draymond, you guys have been down 3-1 a couple of times. You've been through just about everything, but you haven't been 0-2 in the series going home.
That's exciting, right?
I was going to ask you what you thought about it.
A new challenge. After the game, I was actually thinking about that. Like, man, I think this is one we haven't seen yet. And we've conquered all the rest of them. So why not go conquer this one? Be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It's good.
Draymond, how would you look at the first 2 games of the series in terms of the way you guys have played and the way they have played? I mean, what are you seeing?
I think we've played we've played okay. We haven't played awful, but we definitely haven't played well. And yet, come down last 4 or 5 minutes each game and you got a chance to win the game. So all things considered, I like where we are. We just got to down the stretch, get stops and convert on the offensive end. But give yourself a chance to win. That's all you can ask for. And we've did that twice. So like it.
What have they done to make it so hard?
Well, they've made shots. They put a lot of pressure on our defense. And, they didn't particularly shoot the ball well all night, but they've made shots down the stretch. So got to give those guys some credit. But there's a lot of things we can clean up.
Draymond, you guys had 22 turnovers tonight. A lot of them were unforced. How can you clean that up?
You just got to accept the pressure, and then go to your counters if the initial action isn't there. And I think a lot of times, and myself included, you're just trying to force it, and getting a little sped up. So just can't get sped up. We know what we're trying to get to. You got to be patient, handle the pressure, and then, if you do when we handle the pressure, everything opens up. And so we just got to handle the pressure better initially, and I think that starts at the beginning of the game. And if I'm not mistaken, I've started 2 games in a row with a turnover, and so that sets the tone. I have to be better there.
Lastly, kind of a big picture look at this. Do you get any sort of a Warriors 2014, 2015 vibe with these Kings in terms of the youth and they're trying to climb the mountain kind of thing?
I think we can say that every year about another team, right? Last year is Memphis, this year is them. When you've had the success that we have had, you're always going to get those comparisons, but it's hard to do, what we've done. So kind of relax a little bit on the comparisons. I said I kind of relax. Not you have to relax. I kind of relax on the comparisons.
Draymond, putting the Sabonis incident aside, Steve mentioned this game has been very physical. How would you assess your team has been matching the physicality of the Sacs?
I think at times we've matched the physicality. At times we've been the aggressor, and then there are but too many times we haven't. And, it's kind of figuring it out as well. Team gets physical, you get physical back, you get a foul call, you're trying to figure that out as well. So, overall, done okay, but not to the level you need to be to win playoff games.
Draymond, in the fourth quarter was all the veterans, I guess, except for when Moody came in a little bit for Wiggins. No Poole, no Dante even. Kuminga didn't play in the second half. Where do you see kind of those young guys? I mean, are you expecting more from them? Do you see something in them that you can get more from them?
it's different. It's different brand of basketball in the playoffs, and we know all those guys are more than capable. We know what Jordan is capable of. We know what Dante is capable of. We know what J.K. is capable of. So just got to stay ready. Games take turns, and coaches have to make decisions based upon how they feel the game is going. And, it happens every year, but you got to stay ready. And I know those guys will.
Draymond, there's always been the feeling that things would be different once the playoffs start, but it seems like some of the issues you're dealing with are the same as from the regular season: turnovers, fouling on defense. Is it hard to break out of issues that have
I think I told y'all in the regular season, you just don't flip a switch. Your issues are your issues, and you have to work through them and figure them out. We gave up 29 free throws. Number realistically probably should be a little closer to 20, but it's not. So just got to figure it out.
How do you fix the foul?
We have to be better at the point of attack. That's guards who's guarding the ball. That's bigs who's in coverage. You have to be better at the point of attack. Once your defense is compromised, that's when you get fouls.
Draymond, Steph didn't take a shot in the third quarter until about 3.5 minutes left. They're obviously being very physical with him. As an initiator, how do you think you guys can best get him going earlier?
I don't know. We have to figure that out. That's something that we need to go watch on the film. Try to figure out how we can release the pressure some. And what other guys can do behind the play when he does get off the ball. So we'll figure it out over the next couple of days, make our adjustments, and come ready to play in Game 3.
After you get ejected, do you go back and watch the game? How does the final 6 minutes go for you?
Sometimes I watch, sometimes I don't.
Did you watch tonight?
Lift some weights, get stronger. That's fine. I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it. I watched here, watched there. But
I partly ask because this is 2 straight games. You mentioned you're close late, but they've closed better than you guys. What do you think's going on down the stretch? I know you.
Fox has made plays. You gotta give Fox a lot of credit, but that's who he is. He's up for a clutch award for a reason. That's who he is. So I don't think it's been a scoring issue. I think we've scored down the stretch. We just haven't gotten stops. So I think it's a defensive issue.
Davion over here, Jake Gayton from CBS 13. Congrats on a big game tonight. Truthfully, what do you think went into your performance tonight defensively and then offensively as well with the big three to close the game?
Yeah, I think throughout the game, I just tried to do a good job of putting ball pressure on Steph, trying to just keep running around with him. I know he's definitely a hard task to guard, especially with their team looking at him throughout the whole game. And offensively, man, they just told me to keep shooting open shots. Shots wasn't falling in the beginning for us, but if we keep shooting them, eventually they'll go in.
James Ham, ESPN 1320. Davion, just the three in the corner. How big is that for you and your confidence and your development here to have a shot like that in such a huge moment in the playoffs?
It's big. My teammates had confidence in me throughout the whole game. Malik kept telling me, you're going to hit the next one, you hit the next one. And as soon as I got the next one, I just trusted my work and I just shot it, and it went in.
Hunter Patterson with The Athletic. Davion, most people usually kind of love getting buckets, so what is it for you specifically that you enjoy so much about trying to make life hard for others?
Yeah, I think that, I think a lot of people look at basketball as it's kind of all about offense, but it's really not. It's the little things you do defensively, rebounding, little things like that. Offense is definitely a big piece, but in the playoffs, it's going to be tough. It's a lot of physicality. A lot of calls are not being made. Just because it's the playoffs. So I know you got to be locked in defensively, especially at times like this.
Matt George, ABC 10, back here, Davion. First off, do you hear the ovations that the crowd gives you in mid-possession when you're able to stop a drive and attack to the basket?
No, not really. I'm kind of I try to stay locked in. I don't really pay attention to it like that.
And then you hear a lot of build-up coming into the playoffs that playoff defense is different. What is it about this team that's been able to figure that out so quickly with the defensive intensity that they've brought?
I think just being ready, physicality, just being ready for it. We knew that it was going to be a lot of fouls that in the regular season would be called, but not in the playoffs. So we knew we would be ready for it. They're not calling a lot of things, but I think we did a really good job of just staying poised throughout the whole game with it.
Davion, it's probably a kind of an easy question here, but does that feel like the biggest moment of your career?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I played in big games in my career, but I think this is definitely the biggest moment playing against the defending champs.
And then just how did you view the moment with Draymond and Sabonis, and how did you kind of digest that?
Honestly, I didn't really see it. I seen it like afterwards. But those plays like that, you can't really. It's hard to judge from that. Especially because the game's physical throughout the whole game. Things like that we can't really control. So we just try to go on to the next play, man, and just keep playing our game.
Scott Marsh, Sacktown Sports 1140. You guys helped to keep Steph to just 3 of 13 from beyond the arc. Anything specifically in guarding Steph tonight?
Try to limit his shots, limit his touches. If he do touch it, just make it hard throughout the game. Just keep a body on him, keep pushing him. Eventually he's going to get tired. It's definitely hard for him not to get tired, but eventually his legs are going to weigh down and his shots are going to be short. So we just try to do that. I think we did a really good job on that today.
Joe Davidson, Sacramento Bee. Do you enjoy going against De'Aaron in practice? He complimented you a moment ago, and also the challenge of Curry. You certainly seem to enjoy that.
Yeah, I think these moments is fun, especially the biggest moment of basketball and in the NBA playoffs. Playing games like this is always fun because every possession matters. So you get a stop that matters. So it's definitely fun.
Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. Davion, of course, this is a different situation, but you guys have been a pretty good road team all season. Just want to get your thoughts of, going into San Francisco to play these guys and what you have to do, to get that job done, at least come away with one win. Oh, yeah, it's going to be tough, especially because, we're up 2-0, so we know they're going to come at us. Even tonight, they came at us throughout the whole game. We know a lot of calls probably not going to go our way, but we just going to be prepared for that. Be ready for it and just keep playing our game, keep being physical, and just keep on to the next play.
Davion, Sarah Hodges, CBS 13. I'm sure you saw the J.R. Smith comment and then about guarding Curry, about Delly.
Yeah.
And De'Aaron Fox just talked about it on Saturday, but did you sort of feel like that, like you needed to take an ice bath, maybe an extra long ice bath after guarding him?
For me, no. I think that I love that end of the floor. I'm really fine with it. It's a challenge. Definitely run around with them. Getting through those screens. A lot of screens I'm getting hit on, but I'm kind of used to it. I'm getting hit throughout the whole season with screens, so kind of used to it.
Davion, Jason Anderson, Sacramento Bee. Apparently, Domas is getting X-rayed on his ribs and his lungs. We've seen him kind of take a beating like all year long. Any thoughts on just kind of the physical nature of not only the season but the playoffs and seeing him kind of get beat up that way and to see that happen to him tonight?
Yeah, man, Domas is a monster. He throughout the season, he played through injuries throughout the whole season. He didn't complain. He didn't sit out. He put us in a position where we can be in the 3 seed. He put us in that position because he played most of the game. So, shout out to him, man. He's a monster. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, Brennan Nunez, Kings Herald, Davion, you guys have been kind of up and down defensively throughout the course of the regular season, but 2 really good games now on that end in your first 2 playoff games. What do you think has been the difference that's allowed you guys to take that to another level, especially with how many small ball lineups you're rolling out there?
I think that the coach is telling us even before the series we got to be physical, and I think as we up our physicality and made our defense stronger, and made the passes tougher. Just because we're always bumping them, so they don't get easy looks. I just think we're just connected together throughout the whole game. Appreciate it.
Man, what a game! The physicality that both teams brought tonight was unbelievable. I thought our guys did a heck of a job tonight. To see that they had 22 turnovers and we were able to capitalize off those turnovers was huge.
We got to keep having active hands throughout the ball game and try to get as many deflections as possible and hope those can turn into points going the other way. We keep talking pace. We got to keep playing fast, even faster than what we played tonight, because that's how we play. We generate a lot of points just by us pushing the ball in transition. But on top of that, having a pace about our game in the half court too has to be huge. Our ability to offensive rebound in game one and tonight was big. Especially, we're obviously not shooting the ball like we normally do, and that's part of being in the playoffs. But we want that thing we want to let it fly. We want our guys to let it go. If they see a hint of daylight, let it go. We trust them. We believe in them. They've been shooting the ball well all year, and we know we're going to have a few games where we really break out. When we do, if we can keep that same physicality and sense of urgency that we're having defensively, it can turn into a big win for us. What was huge was also for us in the second half is we had 2 turnovers in the second half. We had 12 in the first half that kept them in it, gave them a lot of life, and for us to be able to be strong with the ball. We talked about the game being a physical game, so you had to be strong with the ball, especially when you tap that paint. For us to be strong with the ball like we were in that second half and only end up with 2 turnovers was huge. You take your hat off to Foxy. Big buckets down the stretch. He had a big 3 right in front of our bench that was phenomenal. Domas, he's an all-star, and he showed tonight why he is an all-star, and he should be all-NBA like Foxy. Both those guys really stepped up tonight, and they were big for us like we need them to be. I tell you what, our bench with Malik continues to be aggressive, continues to play the right way. We need him to be aggressive like he is because, I don't know if I've seen a guy, especially a 6-man like that, be able to make plays the way he does for himself and or for his teammates. But Davion Mitchell was good. You're not stopping Steph. Steph had 28, and when a guy scores 28, you think that somebody did a halfway decent job on him. But Steph is the greatest of the great. You're not stopping him. You're not going to slow him down. You just want to try your best to make him work, and that's all Davion's doing. He's trying like the Dickens to make Steph work, and we know Steph's going to bring it down in San Francisco. He's going to let that thing fly, and we all have to be conscious of trying to help Davion or Foxy or whoever's guarding him, because he can win a series for that team any day of the week. But I got to give credit to Davion for trying to fight over screens and through screens and all that other stuff. I don't know if he can do a better job, which is again a testament to Steph's greatness with the 28 points. So phenomenal game. Our crowd again. I don't know if I don't feel like I've ever been in a building that's as loud as this. It's deafening. My grandson has come to 2 games. I gotta ask his mom if we need to get a nanny, because I'm worried about his eardrums, even though he's got these big old things on his head.
Yeah, James Ham, ESPN 1320. Mike, it's a great win for you guys, but it's kind of marred by the situation with Draymond. Have you seen a player stomp on another player like that, and then again go and goat the crowd, stand up on the scores table or the bench area and do what he did like tonight? And I know you know him personally. Just what are your thoughts on that entire scene?
Yeah, I didn't see what he did afterwards, but for sure it's a flagrant 2 for sure, and it'd be interesting to see what the NBA does after they review it. But I didn't see the aftermath. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think he might be getting checked out now, getting X-rays and all that stuff because it was pretty hard stomp.
Sam Amick, The Athletic. Mike, you talked pregame about when these guys win in the playoffs, you just kind of let it ride and you're loving them up. But you go into this postseason, you didn't know what you'd get from each of these guys, and to win a game like this against that group when you're talking about the drama like with Draymond and the grit aspect of it, is there part of you that takes a step back and is pleasantly surprised and enjoying the way they're stepping up here?
I am enjoying it, because like you said, like I've been saying, we've had a good regular season, but we haven't been on a stage like this, and you think that it's gonna go a certain way because they played at a certain level throughout most of the year, especially when they were on the road and in tight situations, but you don't know until you experience it, and there's going to be a lot of firsts for us, a lot of tests for us. Every game we win in a situation like this, it's going to get harder because they're first of all the reigning champions. They have a championship DNA that is irreplaceable with as many guys, and including their staff, that have won at a high level, and so every loss, in my opinion, is going to make them that much more desperate, which in turn, it's like I said it before, it's like a wounded animal. That wound is just getting bigger and bigger, and when that happens, we know and they know they're going to have to crank it up a notch and fight even harder. So, it's going to get tougher for us each game.
Mike, through 2 games, I mean, you guys have shown kind of the ability to remain composed in high-intensity situations, and I think that altercation kind of would fall into that. How much do you feel, I know you were speaking for yourself for a minute ago and seeing the altercation, but how much did that maybe bother your team and maybe, upset them in this game?
Yeah, I mean, nobody likes to see that done to their teammate, in the same breath. You hit it on the head. We have to exceed their physicality on both sides of the ball. We have to play with a sense of urgency on both sides of the ball. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen out there. And so we got to be smart with how we react, we respond, and our guys have been poised. And so I take my hat off to our guys because there's a lot going on out on that floor.
Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. Coach Brown, after that scenario with Sabonis, Warriors come back, they tied at 93, I believe, and 95 or something like that. And your team, Fox hit a couple baskets. Just want to, get your thoughts, your team, in that moment, sticking with it no matter what, and then pulling out the win in those last few moments.
Yeah, we said this all along, whether we're up big or we're down big, we have to stick to what our game plan is. We got to keep trying to play fast. We got to keep trying to be physical, and we can't worry about what the score is or how much time is left in the game. And they're a great team. I said it before. They're going to take the lead down the stretch. They're going to tie the game down the stretch. They may be in front down the stretch. Who knows? But we got to keep grinding and see if we can find a way. During this time of the year, you just find a way to win, and our guys did.
Jordan Lattimore, Kings Digital. Coach, you talked pregame about, wanting to get a win no matter what, and, talking about your guys stepping up. Obviously, last game, you saw Alex Len kind of step up in that role and provide that interior force presence, and then tonight you saw Davion step up and hit some great some clutch shots and provide that great defensive pressure. Just wanted to ask you about the guys stepping up from the bench and coming through and delivering in the playoffs in a huge moment like this.
Yeah, we've had a lot of guys step up, but you hit it on the head. We talked about Davion's defense, but the 3 that he hit in front of our bench was huge. He works his tail off daily to be able to knock down shots like that. He also hit a couple of pull-ups that were big for us. So all our guys know that they understand what a great shot is, and if they see any daylight at all, we're encouraging them all to let it fly.
Hey, Coach. Luke Serio, ABC 10. Obviously, 2 big wins at home. Now you get a chance to take this series back to San Francisco. Is there anything that you're looking forward to, or you're excited about being back in that building again, or getting a chance to be there wearing some different threads?
I'm looking forward to going home and going to sleep tonight. That's it. We'll figure that out later.
Coach Scott Marsh here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Obviously, you've had a chance to coach a lot of tough players in this league, but Domas, is there anybody tougher you've been around than this guy?
I don't think so, man. The dude's playing with a broken arm, a broken hand or thumb or whatever it is, and the way he got hit tonight in the head and the body and then the stomp and all that stuff. I mean, he's tough as they come. And then we ran him 40 minutes. I think we gave him about a 2-minute rest there, and then we put him back in the game. We said, we need you to play, and he went out there and played and did not complain. His motor is unbelievable. His mental toughness is unbelievable, and his physical toughness is unbelievable, and it was all on display tonight.
Mike, what type of confidence do you think that locker room has after going up 2-0 and about to head into another opponent's building?
Our group, they've been resilient all year. They've believed in each other at the highest level, and again, I take my hat off to them because that's half the battle. If there's any doubt at all that seeps into that locker room, you're in trouble. And our guys don't have any doubt. They understand that it's going to be tough, but they do believe in each other, which is a big-time thing.
Steve mentioned how physical he thought this game was. I think he said there could have been 10 fouls called in the first 3 minutes. I mean, did you feel it was both sides, an amped-up game from a physicality standpoint?
It was extremely physical, but when you look at the box score, you look at the box score, I mean, the fouls are pretty much even, 26-25. And so the one thing that you want to be able to have happen is you want the refs to call a game consistently. And if they call a game consistently, then the fouls are going to usually even out at the end of the day. You're not going to have a big disparity in fouls. And he's right. It was a physical ball game. Both teams brought it in that area. And you just applaud the officiating crew because they didn't deviate from the way that they started calling the game.
Mike, Jason Anderson, Sacramento Bee. Did you mentioned that Domas went back in and finished the game for you? Did he have any complaints about pain to the ribs, trouble breathing, anything physical that he was experiencing after that incident with Draymond?
No.
Coach Brendan Nunez, Kings Herald. There's times earlier this year where you guys struggled on the defensive end of the floor, and you would say that wouldn't work in the postseason. How encouraging is it for you for the long-term projection of this team to come out and win a game on the defensive end of the floor with an offense of their caliber?
Oh, we talked about playoff basketball. You have to bring a certain level of physicality to the game, a sense of urgency to the game. And, our guys are showing that they're capable of doing that. And so we have to continue to do it for as close to 48 minutes as possible in order to give ourselves a chance. Thank you, guys.
Klay, I know all years are different, but you guys have never been down 2-0 in a playoff series. Does that hit? And what do you think the significance of that is just for this series?
Unfamiliar territory, but we've been down 3-1. We've been up 3-1. We've been through everything. So we rely on our experience, and we take a great off day tomorrow, and we recollect ourselves and do what we do, and that's play well at home, always.
Klay, what do you think it is about the Kings that's giving you guys the most trouble on defense? I mean, obviously, number one.
Yeah, they're switching a lot of screens, and they're making us play along the perimeter. We didn't really get to the rim as much as they did. So I think being back home will help us in that regard as far as just feeding off the crowd and being aggressive and not settling for as many outside shots. But we had 2 chances to win these games, so we're not discouraged. We know we can go home and protect home court and give ourselves another opportunity to win here.
What did you think about the physicality of the game tonight?
It was physical. That's what we expected. That's what makes it the NBA playoffs. That's what makes it fun. It's better that than all the flopping that we've been seeing some past years. So we don't mind when it's a physical game.
Klay, you and Draymond both in Portland were talking about how different the playoffs are and things sort of start fresh. But how hard is it to shake some of the issues that you guys have had through the regular season, specifically turnovers and fouls on defense? Things that Steve talked about a lot, but it seemed to be still be an issue.
The beautiful part is we have another opportunity Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not sure when the game is. Thursday. So although it's been ugly first couple games as far as fouling and turnovers, we can bounce back in a great way, and I know we will.
Even with some of the physicality, turnovers, fouling, I mean, what do you make of the pace and just how both teams like to push it and transition so much?
I mean, they're a very athletic young team, and we have great athletes as well. And we play very well in transition. They do too. So it makes for a fun matchup, and it's the way you want to play basketball. It's just up and down. So we will be better in that regard as far as taking care of the ball and getting more transition opportunities at home. I just know we will.
Klay, Tony Harvey, ESPN, NBC Sports Radio. Coach Kerr said the other day, there's really no pressure on you guys. Maybe if it was you're down 3-0. What's your thoughts right now? You feel any pressure, being down 0-2 right now, going back to San Francisco?
No, I don't feel pressure. I just see an opportunity for us to go home and protect our home court and make adjustments. I mean, like I've said before, we've been through it all, so we're not accustomed to hitting the panic button. We, lost a 73-win season, so we know what it's like to deal with that pressure and outside noise. It's nothing new. It just comes with being an NBA player.
Playing the fourth quarter, I think you played the whole fourth quarter. Steph played the whole fourth quarter. Where you guys were really leaning on? Obviously, Draymond didn't get through the whole fourth quarter, but then some of the younger guys did not play. Can you expect more? Do you expect more from Jordan, from Dante, even Kuminga, and do you need more from them?
Well, Jordan's playing with like half a foot right now, so I was just proud of his resilience. And I know J.K. and Dante will have big games for us. Everyone's going to. Luckily, it's first to four. It's not the old format where it's first to three. That would be not so much fun, but we all have off nights. I've had bad shooting nights in the first round, in the finals, in the Olympics, so I just love those guys, and I know they'll bounce back. I mean, we have a great opportunity ahead of us. I know we're going to right the ship.
What do you think needs to change for you guys to put yourself in just better positions down the stretch to be able to close out games?
Make more shots, attack the rim, and rebound. Those three things are vital to success going forward.
What was your view of the Draymond Sabonis incident and just the way the crowd was getting into Draymond? Obviously was egging them on. Did that change anything? Did they change anything, the dynamic?
I mean, what are you going to do when someone grabs your foot when you're running full speed? Like, that's a dirty, just fully grabs your foot and yanks on you. That's not cool, man. I'm not saying what Draymond did was right, but, like, you can't just grab somebody's foot when they're taking off in a full sprint. That's not cool. I don't do that. Like, that's crazy.
Cool. Great. Thank you.
Steph, a lot going on in that game, but through it all, last few minutes, tie game. Looked like you guys had some momentum. What happened there to cause you to lose?
They just made a couple more plays down the stretch in terms of putting pressure on our defense. Fox got into the lane a couple times, forced us to make decisions on who we can give a shot up to. But I like the way we fought back and competed. After not playing well in the first half at all, still giving ourselves a chance and having some life, but obviously wasn't enough. So biggest lesson is just how do we control the momentum early, knowing that they're young, athletic, they're trying to play with force. We can match that, but we just got to play with a little bit more IQ in terms of what we're trying to do on both ends of the floor.